bits, but we'll have the nice pictures there. Guys, so after first semester, and I did tell people who were with me on Monday for the Remy, I really got feedback from people that they said they really struggled to finish the exam. So what we've done is we now will give you the 7 options, and you have to do 4 of them. So we are just going to restructure the numbering. So we'll expect 4 questions. Okay, so it should take away the issue in terms of timing. I think you guys are very lucky because I had done the exams and the decision was taken afterwards. But having said that, so you'll have 7 to choose from, and you have to do 4. And honestly, if people now tell me they don't complete in time, then it's up to you guys. Then it's not up to me anymore. So please just bear that in mind when we move forward. And if I forget closer to the time when we start doing NSSs and rubbish like that, that I actually at least remind people. You will be given the scenarios. You'll be given the articles. So you will not be given the questions, but I think we'll be able to figure out the questions. We'll follow a similar process as in first semester, guys. I think for me, that's the best I can do. Exactly. The same process. Ah! Oh, that's wonderful news, Chelsea. That's absolutely wonderful news. When you're a genius lecturer, these are the kinds of responses you get, and incredibly humble, obviously, as well. Okay, let's look at this tonight. I found this wonderful article, and it takes us through a number of people who essentially are industry leaders, but also are significant change leaders. Now, some of these people I had not heard of, but when you see what they've achieved, it's pretty impressive. So the first one is Reshmi Sojani. Have a glance at that. I think one of the students, I can't remember who, is doing research into what do we do to make IT less of a boys' club for her Remy research. So is it going to be one of those home-based ones where you write with the camera on? We'll worry about all of that. Okay, Brett. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's a problem for another day. Yeah. Let's see what comes up, Charles. I must admit, I've not been updated on that. So Reshmi Sojani, Tim Cook. What is Tim Cook famous for? We obviously know that he's a CEO of Apple, but what did he do as a change leader? Remember, he had fairly big shoes to fill. Well, he had very big shoes to fill, not fairly. What did he do as a change leader? Anyone know what the change at Apple was when he stepped in? I think what he did is he changed Apple from being a company that focused solely on hardware, and he moved into software, and he moved into applications, and he started thinking away from always trying to launch new hardware. So the transition, absolutely, the ecosystem was astonishing that he created, but the transition away from Steve Jobs, a lot of people thought that what happened when Steve Jobs left the first time, the same decline would happen. And we've not seen that. I mean, they've grown. I think they might still be the most valuable brand in the world. If they're not the most valuable brand, they're certainly second or third. But I'm almost 100% certain that they're the most valuable brand. This is an interesting one. Okay, Facebook. But I think also the idea that we have these social entrepreneurs that have to get recognition as much as your other entrepreneurs. I think there's such a desperate need in the world for people to step in and make a difference. That social entrepreneurship has to be acknowledged as an important part of entrepreneurship. And the clever thing is really the idea of how she used Facebook as a platform in terms of going into social entrepreneurship. Right. Bob Iger, anyone know who that is? What did Disney give us and how have they changed?
Sir. Um,
Yeah.
Under Bob Iger, isn't it like that Disney has expanded it? Isn't it under him that they bought a whole bunch of the production companies? They bought
Yeah, there they
the one who
are.
makes Ice Age, and they
Um,
bought Star Wars, and yeah.
that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it, Theo. And obviously Disney Plus came about. So they've moved away from what essentially would have been theme park based and the good old Disney movies, Snow White, etc. And and now have moved into computer generated bits and a significant focus around computer technology in the movies that they make. And I mean, also bought Lucasfilms. What did Lucasfilms give the world? Remember Star Wars, Indiana Jones. There are a whole bunch, and all of a sudden, yeah. And I can't remember. E.T. was Lucasfilms as well, I'm sure. Who remembers E.T.? You see, it's a generation that won't know. The best. Oh, Charles, I'm so impressed. E.T. go home. No, yeah, E.T. go home. Phone home, but yeah, go home. I think that's a little bit xenophobic. It is more E.T. phone home. Charles and his xenophobia being with us again. E.T. go home. Close though, Charles. Well done. You're still a baby. You are still a baby. So you're allowed to get away with it. Yeah. ET phone home. And then Reed Hastings, I mean, if you think of where Netflix started, what did Netflix start out as a business? What was their business model? What was their business model? Before streaming, Tyler, before streaming. Movie rentals. Yeah, you would rent movies and they would send it to you in a box and you would then watch them and then you would return that. That's where they started. If you think of the evolution, because they were in competition with Mr. Video and Blockbuster and those kinds of places, but the big difference is they would courier the movies to you to watch and then you would return it. And where is Mr. Video? Where is Blockbuster now? I mean, they don't exist. This lot seriously started a significant change in the world. Let's also be honest. They are the industry leader because Netflix started, and then we had which others that followed. Who followed Netflix and essentially copied Netflix? Obviously, Amazon Prime, and then also Disney Plus. Can I just see who is on Netflix? Everyone here have Netflix? Yeah. Anyone else on Netflix? Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I've got a feeling that, yeah, it's not the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. I think it's the Mike Tyson slaughtering Jake Paul, but we'll leave it at that, Dylan. Who are the Prime people? Oh, you have also Prime and Disney, Chelsea. I've got Netflix and Prime. I don't have Disney. But to me, I'm Star Wars fanatic. I should actually have Disney as well. Okay, very, very cool, guys. Now, yeah, this one is interesting. A very, very interesting one. Because when we talk about boys' club, what is more boys' club than manufacturing cars? You know, it really is a boys' club type thing. But the key difference she's made is transition Chev to that. Anyone here drive an electric car? Very nice, Chels. Very, very, very nice. Anyone here have an electric car? Walter, there's not enough electricity in Botswana for an electric car. Did you sell one? Which one did you sell, Brett? Please don't tell me it was a Tesla. Mini electric, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, so true, boy. So, so true. And then, yeah. Oh, poor Cam. I don't know if Cam's here to defend himself. Brett, you'll have to do the defending. Cameron, are you here, boy? It's so bad. Oh gosh, Cam is not here again. So yeah, let's pick on Cam. Okay, guys, and then yeah, the first one there. Yeah, the first one, Pony Ma, have a glance at that. Remember, it's Tencent. Where is Tencent here? It is in the top 10 wealthiest brands globally. It definitely is in the top 10 wealthiest brands. And then Jack Ma, anyone ever buy from this place before? From Alibaba or AliExpress? Well done, Bill. What did you think, Mark? What did you think buying from them? It was slow. It was really slow. Now customs start chowing you. Absolutely. Customs really will eat you. I think I told you guys about my friend that bought oh gosh, he bought a Persian carpet from them and got a really good price for a Persian carpet. Unfortunately, the picture that he looked at was to scale. So he paid, I think it was 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. That was his Persian carpet from Alibaba. I must admit, somewhere in the world, one is born, guys, and then yeah, so some of these I don't know much about, but this person I didn't know he was linked to WhatsApp, and obviously WhatsApp now belonging to Facebook. I would imagine that the one thing that every single person shares on this call is that they are on WhatsApp. I see that the Telegram, the Telegram CEO and the guy who created Telegram was arrested today for hosting terrorist groups or allowing terrorist groups to use the platform. I don't know if anyone saw that. Just shows you how dangerous it is to be a tech entrepreneur. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Yeah, so Telegram. I don't know if anyone is on Telegram. I had to join very briefly because um, I applied to lecture for another institution and they wanted me to be on it. Yeah, that's France. That's right, Bill. Absolutely right. Bill Gates, not going to discuss too much about, but I think for me, his biggest impact is his social entrepreneurship on Telegram. Very cool. Is his social entrepreneurship. I think his stated intention is to give all his money away, but I think he earns money so quickly that it's very difficult to keep giving it away. Not going to look at Elon Musk. I think Warren Buffett, we've got enough there. Yeah, this one, LinkedIn. Anyone surprised that LinkedIn is still surviving? That LinkedIn is still a thing? I would imagine every single person here is on LinkedIn. Not surprised, Charles. Yeah, you see, it's a generational thing. I am on LinkedIn, but I don't post. Yeah, yeah, I suppose I'm not professional enough then to do that. Okay, very, very cool. I really have to start looking at my LinkedIn. Yeah, I don't want a job, guys. I really don't want a job. Yeah, no, it will continue, Fabian, without a shadow of a doubt. Do you think Dylan can find a job on there? Bill, what jobs are you looking for, boy? Diesel mechanic. I thought you were going to put male model, man. Thought you were going
No,
to put
so
male
that's Cam. I
model.
was joking.
Okay, guys, I'll skip Jeff Bezos. We've had enough on him. And then just other bits. Yeah, an interesting one. The Lyft in competition, obviously, with Uber. Who uses Lyft versus Uber? Anyone here use Lyft? I'm in Pietermaritzburg. It's taken ages for Uber to get here, so don't ask us about those things. This is an interesting one as well. To just include female leaders, and it's important in terms of 2 weeks' time. And I did share something on that for 2 weeks' time. Huffington Post. Yeah, if you ever get a chance, go and have a glance at the Huffington Post, and then yeah, PepsiCo, and just carrying on and on and on. And then obviously in Walmart, and then if you ever get a chance, have a look at Sam's Club, and they can just see the kind of influence and impact that she's had. So when we look at what we want to do tonight, where is this? We're looking at, my apologies. We're looking at change leaders and the idea of the role that leaders play in bringing about change. I did have this, and I'm not too worried about it, but I just want to spend a second on that. Can someone tell me what has happened to Edgar's in the last 10 years? No problem, Ongs.
So it's their
What has
business
happened to it?
model with
It
Edgar's.
declined and declined and declined.
They
Yeah, go,
focused
Bill.
on
What else?
credit. They focused on credit,
Yeah,
and they couldn't recoup that credit, so they went bankrupt, and then they were bought out by
yeah.
Retailability.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember that the reason that the credit became an issue is because they outsourced the credit to, I think, Absa Bank. And honestly, those people were so rude to clients that clients were closing their accounts left, right, and center. They've now somehow seemed to have survived. Oh yeah, they have seriously downscaled. But I haven't been in an Edgar's in a long time. But from what I understand, is they're starting to look and resemble a bit of a Mr. Price type thing. Is that a fair comment? Who still has an Edgar's account? That's quite interesting as a question.
So I can say that they definitely are trying to copy us. They're poaching a lot of our employees, and they're mimicking what we do on the account sector.
You're kidding me. Sorry, and who are you with, Dylan?
Mr. Price.
Oh, you're with Mr. Price. For me, the feedback that I get from students is they're starting to look like Mr. Price. Because remember, they've had several attempts, and then they wanted to create the superstore where you could go have them coffee and kids can play, and that bombed. And now, yeah, they've made some sort of, I suppose, survive at the last moment, and are starting to look like Mr. Price. But it just shows you. I remember when the CEO couldn't pay creditors, and he started crying because they had attempted everything. And yeah, anyone still have an Edgar's account? If I had to ask, 20 years ago, whose parents would have had an Edgar's account? 20 years ago. I think Edgar's and having an Edgar's account is as South African as Brian. Honestly, Brian drinking beer and fighting. I think it's as South African as rugby. And back then, now I don't think a single person has an Edgar's card anymore. I certainly don't have an Edgar's card, and it was just because of the way their credit controllers were treating customers as well. Your mom still has one, Ruan?
Yes, sir. But we don't use it that often. Well, she.
I will tell you, Mom, the 1980s are calling and they want the Edgar's card back.
I
Sorry,
will tell her
that's
that,
so
sir.
good.
I will tell her that.
Now I've got a feeling your mom is a farm girl. She'll kick my, you know what. Okay. Yeah. That is savage. Sorry, Brett. That is really savage, actually. Here we go again. Someone's going to report me. Oh my word, she can't close her account. Tell her about the 1980s. Yeah. Pay just now, pay flex. I don't know about either, to be honest with you, Anastasia. Just tell us a bit about it. Pay just now, pay flex.
It's just uh
I'm looking, yeah, I'm listening.
it's just basically the difference between the way you pay. So it's still on credit, but it's not you're not using the Edgar's account, so you pay in installments.
I've never ever heard of that. Who knows about this?
Yeah, so
Uh,
they,
for
And it's interest
yeah,
free as well. Yeah.
interesting.
yeah,
For how long though?
6 months.
6 months. How
Yeah.
do they
But
survive?
they actually, so their business model is if a customer doesn't pay, that's when they hit you with heavy charges, and that's where they
Oh,
get their profits
okay.
from. Yeah. It's all like the pay just now, pay flex, pay joy, you name it. It's pretty much the same business model.
Okay. So Dill, this is your hunting ground,
Yeah,
your habitat.
that's my baby. Yeah.
Very cool, boy. Very, very cool, though. The one thing we know about Mr. Price, it's a wonderful training ground for recently graduated people. One of the best training grounds in South Africa. Can I just see who uses this Pay Just Now or Pay Flex, etc.? Never heard of it. So even Superbalist and Takealot, you can do that on. Oh my gosh. I come here to learn. Very cool, Anastasia. Very cool. I literally am coming here to learn. Gerardo also. Oh my gosh. So what did you learn today? My students taught me a hell of a lot about delaying payments for things. You have to teach me. I think I've learned more from you, honestly, guys, in one lecture than you learned from me an entire year. Right. So, guys, when we look at the roles that leaders can adopt in terms of the change process, I think we have to consider the different elements that we need to attend to in terms of any change process. So whenever we talk about images of change outcomes, what is the word we normally use for that? What is the term we normally use for that? What must leaders create? What is that ideal image? What do we call that? Results, it's the vision, Tyler, 100%. I think the one thing that we see in terms of every good change leader is that they have a clear vision. And obviously, it's not just having the vision, it's also making those building blocks available in terms of we actually giving life to that vision. It's great to have a vision. I once worked with a guy who kept telling everyone he's an ideas person. But an idea or a vision means absolutely nothing unless you can actually put in the bits of building blocks to make it happen. So, in terms of the kinds of things that we have to look at, I think these are always the kind of intended outcomes where we look into the future, we anticipate changes, and we see ourselves in a particular sort of ambitious future. And you have to do certain things. You get those controlling people where you have your managers do the building blocks, but you check and make sure that the building blocks are followed. Or you could actually just share the capability. So often we know that in terms of bringing about change, the one thing we have to do is make sure that we provide people with the knowledge, the skills, the abilities. It really is that kind of competency that we create. And remember, competency is knowledge and skill in action. Guys, and then just sometimes in terms of those partially intended, it's more of a navigator role in the sense that we try and steer you to to perfectly visualize a future. Honestly, this world has literally gone insane. And then just in terms of the navigator, the interpreter, when we try and interpret and create skills and knowledge and the foundational stuff. And then sometimes things go really wrong and we have emergent strategies, etc. So often it's about this sort of caretaker, just get us through this. It is about nurturing, hopefully preparing people for the future. It's a very strange one, guys. So the one thing we see is how people resist change. So often the biggest job of a change leader is dealing with resistance to change. Give me reasons why people resist change. What is the biggest reason, or one of the biggest reasons why people resist change? Comfort. Yeah, for me, it's the comfort, the uncertainty, the unknown. I think people are creatures of habit. Remember our arm folding exercise from first semester. People are creatures of habit. And the moment you start messing with that habit, it becomes a real problem. Yes, Charles, you were the champion at arm folding, or at least entertaining us trying to fold your arms. So if we look at the way we deal, the way we deal with resistance. So the first one is, I think it it's one of those that it's a bit like running a marathon. I don't know if anyone's ever watched or run the Comrades Marathon. The people in front charge ahead. You know, they're a K down the road, and those guys are a K down the road, and some people haven't started moving yet. Change works like that. There will always be those individuals that will embrace the change, and then the rest will catch up. I don't know if anyone's ever watched the start of the Comrades. You always have those run for TV people at the beginning streaking ahead, but people have already run 5Ks, and then some of the back markers start moving. Change is like that. Is that a fair comparison in your organization and where you've had change? There will always be those individuals that are excited that will embrace it, and then there are those people that take convincing. And it doesn't mean that the convincing need to be convinced people will not embrace it, but they take a lot longer. They have that creature of habit. They don't always see the need. Also, to just say, guys, what happens is there are so many changes happening all the time that people are fed up with change. I see Varsity College has got a whole bunch of new things for us next year, and I'm thinking, I'm too old for this. I really am too old for this. I've just figured out how to work VC Learn. I still have to learn how to load ice tasks, obviously. Guys, and then just a navigator. I think here you find that there's a bit of parochialism, and people worry about the control they have in their department and what they're going to lose. Other people are concerned that they're going to lose the budget allocations that they're used to. But it's sometimes very difficult when you've got a powerful manager in finance or a powerful leader in marketing, and the shift of the focus of the organization shifts. Those people will white ant the actual process. Guys, in terms of caretaker, I think here it's generally short-lived, but the change happens. This is that kind of inevitable change where you say to people, either we do it or we close down. Anyone ever have had to say to their staff or being told, either we embrace this or we close the doors in 2 months' time? Has that ever happened to anyone? Where change is an inevitability? You want to share with us, Brett? COVID. Absolutely, boy. Well, that's a very good example. It's a very good example. Either we transition. Yeah, Anastasia, that happens, eh? It absolutely happens. I honestly feel like a dinosaur at Varsity College. because I keep hearing about the gimmicks the other lecturers use, and I think, oh gosh, if I had to ever use a gimmick, and I would literally jump off my table and hope to miss the ground. Guys, and then just the coach. I think here it's the fact that you have to act like a coach, to say that the fact that some of you are resisting and some of you are embracing, it's really destroying the teamwork. Let's see what we can do collectively. Oh, Bill, that's so true, boy. That is so true. Guys, and then the interpreter. I think sometimes people just don't understand the need for change, and you need to tell people what we want to achieve, what will happen if we don't make the changes. And the nurturer, yeah, it really is that the resistor doesn't have a reason to resist change. I think everyone works with somebody who's just difficult. Sorry, and where I work, I'm the difficult one, apparently. Guys, and then just the different types of change. I think in the ideal world, and I'm talking about the ideal world, you're sitting here where you're able to anticipate. So the sort of strategic change, I think often this would be considered a revolutionary change. So your strategic change would be part of that reorientation, would be a revolutionary change. It is Netflix moving away from videos and having videos delivered at your door to becoming the streaming giant that they are now. In the ideal world, guys, you're able to foresee changes, you're able to anticipate, you're able to create a vision for the future, and you're able to make those changes in advance. Tuning is, I think everyone has come across this term, and I'm very sure I've shared this term already. The term Kaizen. Anyone aware of that? I'm very sure I've shared Kaizen already. What is Kaizen? Have you seen the term before? I somehow think I've shared that with you guys already. What is a Kaizen? Who's not heard the term Kaizen before? I'm not making it up before anyone accuses me. Not heard it before, Walter. Okay. Yeah. Kaizen is I think, yeah, it's the Japanese for small ongoing improvements. So it's the idea of continuous improvement. Yeah, constant minor changes, 100%, Marcus, 100%. Continuous improvement. And it is constantly trying to just get slightly better. If you think of Kaizens that people are given as part of their KPIs, every month you have to, in a team, show that you've made 5 Kaizens or 10 Kaizens. It is about efficiency. It is about making sure that you do more with less, that you improve the speed. And it is about continuous improvement. And companies who are in manufacturing, who have production lines, will always have some sort of Kaizen expectation. And these expectations are part of team KPIs. Guys, reactive change. Yeah, and I'm going to steal somebody who said COVID earlier. Sorry. Yeah, I'm going to steal COVID. Let's be honest, guys, that was the biggest reactive change you could imagine. I mean, that is 100 breaths. Yeah, stealing your idea, Boya. Reactive change, COVID. It literally hit people so hard. Having said that, we already knew in November that something big was going to hit us. Do you think we have to be concerned about mpox? Should we be concerned about mpox? Well, but Fabian, what a wonderful example. I mean, how do you react to that? Mpox, guys, should we be concerned about it? Not to the extent of COVID. I mean, the reality is, yeah, I think also, I mean, and the truth is, that mRNA technology that they used for COVID vaccines essentially can be used as part of the mpox vaccination process. And I know that mpox vaccinations are available, and I know the DRC is desperately trying to get hold of it. To also just say, I've just had a student come back from 2 weeks of having COVID. So COVID is very much still here. The first week she was absolutely fine. The second week she suffered from bronchitis. And I think one of you had COVID recently. I'm very sure somebody in this class had COVID. Yeah, the Olympians, the guy that ran the 200 meters with COVID. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, so in terms of reactive, yeah, here you adapt. So the change in the external environment is not so significant that you can't catch up. Here, this is where you take dynamite and you restart recreation. A swimmer as well. Okay, I missed that. The recreation, absolutely the same thing, guys. It is revolutionary, but this is done playing catch up. It is when a competitor launches something brand new and you're not ready for it. I think the reality is this is the worst position to be in. Right. So just to do that, guys, I'm not going to go through these slides. You can look at it yourself. But the tuning, I think, really just very, very minor, proactive, trying to just keep ahead of the crowd, reorientation, revolutionary, but done with a vision, and then the other two as well. So I think in terms of dealing with resistance to change, and again, resistance to change, I think it is everywhere, and I think people are fed up with change. So generally, what you need to do is some sort of mobilization of effort. I think it really is about creating the momentum. And what is the opposite of momentum? What is the opposite of momentum? Are the slides at least on the stagnation? Yeah. Are the slides at least on here? Slacking? Yeah. What's the opposite, guys? It's inertia. Well done, Cleo. It's inertia. I always think, and I come from a generation that pushed cars. So now modern cars, when you get into them, you know they're going to work. Yeah, I come from a generation where you had to break the inertia to get the wheels moving so that somebody can let out the clutch so that you could jump start the vehicle. Who here has pushed a car or who's jump started a vehicle? Tyler, what age are you, Tyler? Oh, there's a couple of you. Very cool. I think my now 28-year-old son, he had a Ford Fiesta, and the battery sort of gave the ghost. And he phoned me and he said he's stuck. He can't move. The Flintstone. The car's stuck and he can't move. And I thought, okay, jump started. I said to him, jump started, and he didn't know how to jump start. He was only 22 at that age. You can see I've spoiled children. So I had to drive all the way to the other side of town, turn the ignition on so they could push me so I could let out the clutch. Yeah, things I do. I should have left him there, let him look up on the internet how to jump start the vehicle. Guys, and then just the second stage is where we start displaying those new behaviors. And this is when it becomes the way we do things around here. Yeah, absolutely, Dill. Yeah, I mean, I did ride motorcycles. Yeah, I think I was 19 and I got a Kawasaki Z750, still the best thing I've owned, I think. And then, yeah, just in terms of organizational culture, that's the way we do things around here. You will know that a change has been embedded when somebody says, oh, that's the way we do things around here. It is the organization's culture. So, in terms of the kinds of skills and characteristics, each of those individuals, guys, that we have, and where is this now? Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm using this one. Every single one of those has those characteristics. It's a wonderful example of how to almost have a tick box exercise in terms of what a change leader should be. Very creative. I mean, I always think of the ideas that Steve Jobs would come up with. I think you guys might know about this, the how in Silicon Valley, how rife the use of LSD is. Because there's a belief that LSD allows you to access parts of your brain. So people would, I'm going to sound so gangster now, and I absolutely love it when I sound gangster. People would drop acid, and then they would go to concerts and listen to music. And they say, that's where somebody suggested we 3D print body spots. Yeah, sorry. Please don't go and drop acid now, because Henny said to be creative, you need to drop acid. It is rife in Silicon Valley. I suppose if you want to be successful, no, I'm teasing. Oh gosh, imagine. And he said I must drop acid. Um, just before the exam. You'll imagine how creative that would be. Yeah, and just admit, guys, when I say drop acid, I sound seriously gangster, because I always wanted to be gangster. Guys, and then a team focus. I think the truth is, if you don't have bodies to support you, you don't get to the momentum stage. Great listening was feedback about concerns, about ideas, about suggestions, and then coaching, just making sure that everyone remembers that they're part of this team. Yeah, and my favorite today is the sense of accountability. I watched Nancy Pelosi just before I lectured. I don't know if anyone watched the recordings of Nancy Pelosi, from Nancy Pelosi on January 6th. And she said, I am responsible for not making sure there are enough guards. Trump is responsible for the riots. And she said, I am accountable for what happened here. And I thought it is just such a powerful statement, because Trump would never admit to being responsible for being the catalyst to the January 6th stuff. Guys, and then just, yeah, I think no one can ever make change happen on their own. And you have to express a sense of gratitude for others who's made a difference. In terms of resistance, yeah, this is a typical model. So if you tell people, guys, COVID, we're having lockdown, we're going to close the business for whatever period. Who was in shock during COVID when they heard that businesses were going to close? Who was shocked when COVID happened? Yeah, when the moment they announced the lockdown, I uploaded this song, and I'm sure I've shared this with you guys already. And it really is, and I don't know whether it's my sense of humor or whether it is me worried about things unconsciously. Sorry. Anyone know the song by REM? I'm not going to try and play it. Oh my gosh, it will be a mess. Anyone know the song? The REM, it's the end of the world as we know it. Yeah, I mean, that's good taste, Cleo. If you know this song, you have really good parents and good taste. For me, I don't know why I did it, but I went onto Facebook and I stuck that to play on my Facebook. I also think that sometimes people go into denial, the kind of, it's not as bad as it will be, some sort of justification. Maybe it's just a rumor. I think that always happens. The big step for me is this one, when people realize I don't have the skills. Now, can I also just say it's more a perception than anything else? But I think people are able to very quickly realize or perceive that they might not have the skills to survive in terms of the new world. Imagine transitioning from face-to-face lectures to online stuff. I honestly had to learn a heck of a lot. I don't know, who did undergrad with us? Who did your undergrad with us? Okay, Tyler, who did you have for economics? Can you remember? Oh gosh. Yeah, don't worry, you guys will forget about me as well. I'm deeply offended now. Okay, guys, and then the acceptance happens. Yeah, yeah, you had Cheryl, absolutely. And I don't know if Cheryl ever shared with you the pain she went through to just to online. Oh my word, she had to learn from scratch. Oh my word, okay. You're, I mean, it's insane, Charles, when you read that and you think we survived that. I think one of the key things in terms of change leadership is to constantly remind people that we are resilient. I always like the idea in terms of crisis management that one of the things you do is you say, if we can survive COVID, we can survive anything. Guys, then you accept and then you start testing. What do I know? What do I have to learn? And then it becomes the search for meaning. What am I going to take out of this? I don't know if anyone's ever read The Man's Search for Meaning. Let me quickly find it here. I do not want to use a wiki because that would irritate me. Anyone read Man's Search for Meaning? Viktor Frankl? Viktor Frankl is a heck of an interesting guy. I mean, he ultimately is, you can see there, neurologist, psychiatrist, etc. To just show you how this applied to him. He was a Jew living in Germany. Hitler went after him, shock. Then obviously the denial, because if you think of the number of Jews that stayed behind, it's that almost that notion of a frog in hot water. If you throw a frog into hot water, it jumps out. But if you boil it slowly, the frog will boil to death. And I think often that's what denial is in terms of, in particular, change. And then they realize that we're not going to survive, and then acceptance. And can also just say, at this point, he would have been sent to a concentration camp, and he was a doctor. So he then used his skills. But what he did at that point is he said, I want to learn from this experience. Now, obviously, a lot of people were killed and a lot of that happened. And that's where he got the term from, search for meaning. He found meaning in terms of spending time in a concentration camp and then obviously integrating those skills into your normal behaviors. Guys, if you ever get a chance, and I know that we've got some avid readers here, please go and read this. Please read this. Where did I put that now? Oh my gosh. I'm just going to move that across. It's a heck of a cheap, guys. I don't think they're very expensive. Man's Search for Meaning. It is well worth the read. There are so many management lessons in there. There's so many leadership lessons in there. It's an absolute necessity to read. Has anyone ever read that? Really well worth the read. And then just, yeah, how the transition happens. So your competence, your confidence, and your time. And it's that kind of thing. It is never a straightforward process of climbing and adjusting and getting better. There will be moments of doubt and self-doubt. There is always some sort of moment where you get too close to collapse. And if we know this about introducing change, surely these are the things we manage as part of being a change leader. Has anyone ever led change or introduced change and required to lead it and were required to lead it? I think this is a wonderful theory. Guys, you can have a look at those. I'm not going to discuss the detail. You can definitely read it. I know that we did Cotter as well when we did it previously with Comp. Do I need to do Cotter again? I know it was part of Comp. I'll go through it fairly quickly. Cotter argues that there are 8 things that will destroy any change effort. So that he talks about change errors, complacency. It's seeing that your competitors introduced a new product, has revolutionized, and you think, that's not going to impact us too much. Not having enough people to support your change, and then not having a vision that people can buy into, and then also not sharing that vision. And then sometimes you allow some obstacles to get into the way. So the job of a change leader is to remove those obstacles. And then I always think of the way that way less and Weight Watchers work. Every time you lose 5 kgs, you celebrate those short-term wins. It's that, how do you eat an elephant, and then making it part of culture. So in terms of the Kotter's model, guys, really effective model in terms of change management. Starts with a sense of urgency. There is nothing more urgent than saying to people, well, if we don't do this, we will have to close down permanently. And then get people aboard, and then the vision, and moving through the vision. Guys, I'm not going to go through this because we did this in first semester. It starts with that moment of, if we don't do this, this organization will close. It's like telling a lifelong smoker with emphysema that if you do not stop smoking, you will die. If you do not lose weight, I had a friend that was told that you will die, you will not see 50. And then the guiding coalition, that group of individuals that will act as your change champions, that will be the forerunners, the front runners in the marathon. Guys, and then your vision, but not just the vision, your building blocks to the vision as well. And then the volunteer army, those individuals that will keep the momentum going, those people that will be your collective group of change champions. And then just remove barriers. I think it's anything, guys. It could be technology, it could be supervisors, it could be people, it could be a policy, anything that stands in the way. And then those short-term wins. I think it's, you can't celebrate the overall change at the end because people need to maintain momentum. And then just sustain acceleration, and then make the change part of your culture. Okay. Also, we've looked at this, guys, reasons why people resist. Yeah, the first one is the desire not to lose something of value. Give me examples of things that people value that they could potentially lose during a change effort. What are things people are afraid to lose during a change effort? For me, one of them is authority. That's it, Bill. If we look at when organizations restructure, influence and power, power control, I mean, those are the words. People immediately, especially, when we've seen when organizations were made flatter and we delayered, frontline supervisors didn't really have a role. They were incorporated in teams, losing influence and power. Middle managers didn't have a role. What do we do with those middle managers? What else do people fear losing? That's the one, Charles, 100%. People fear losing the things that they are good at, fear the skills that they have, because relevant skills, some of those skills and competencies, let me rather use the term competency, take years to build. What else do people lose? What else do people lose sometimes? That's it, their jobs. My PhD research was to look at managing organizational panic during times of crisis that might kill off an organization. The biggest fear is we are going to be retrenched. It is a serious, serious problem because in modern organizations where we expect people to do more with less, people lose their jobs in a country. Also to say, South Africa has the highest unemployment rate in the world, and I'm pretty sure I've shared that with you. It is a real, real fear. Guys, the second one is not understanding why we have to make the change. Honestly, I don't understand why we have to move away from BC Learn to something different. Now, I'm pretty sure it's better and it will be great, but I haven't been convinced of that yet. Guys, and then the next one, the fact that people think it's change for the sake of change. I honestly think someone read somewhere that to survive an organization needs to change. I think I've seen changes for the sake of change too often, honestly, and you think, oh my gosh, okay, we are now literally just doing it for the sake of change. Guys, and then low tolerance. I think people are fed up with changing. Yeah. And one of the things we have to remember here, guys, it's it's the fact that none of these models are perfect. I think one of the things you must never think with any best practice that we have here is that it's a magic thing like a Lego block that you can shove into an existing set of Lego blocks, use the best practice. It doesn't work. And can I also just say, to just show you something, I wanted to show you this, the evolution of Lego as a company that has changed, starting there. And now, my gosh, what Lego gives us is completely insane. The evolution of Lego has been significant. I mean, look at the Lambo there. And when we think of where Lego was, it was blocks. To also just say, each of my kids played with blocks, and it's crazy expensive. I'm busy building. I think it's a Harley Davidson, and it's taken me a long time to finish it. But you're right, Chelsea, it is crazy expensive. Who still has little dudes and dudettes at home? Who has little kiddies at home? Brett, Lego? Have they got Lego? Yeah. That kind of Lego, those old building blocks, lots of it. Yeah, we gave lots of it away. We've had 3 kids, so we made a donation. Yeah, it was pretty cool to like a children's care facility. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Technic. Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with building a Lego, but can I just say I can't find it. That to me is the kind of Lego. Well, can I also just say, as much as I'd love to tell you that I build a Lego, I sit with my wife and kid, and they show me what to do because my brain doesn't work this way. But Lego is a company that changed and keeps evolving. We haven't seen a Lego movie because they've moved past their Lego movie stage. There's nothing wrong that your dad still builds Legos. Okay. And I'm assuming it's not these Legos, or is it? I'm assuming it's this kind of Lego. Where is it? I'm trying to find the Lambo again. Yeah, Star Wars, etc. But they are crazy expensive. So, guys, the reality is when we think of contingency, I think you will have a combination of education and training in terms of informing people of the need for change. You would have people involved. You would have people, be sent to be listened to. It's a bit acting a bit like a therapist, an internal therapist. Other options, negotiating, where if you agree the change, we will give you a one-off bonus. The stuff I don't like are the last two: manipulation and cooptation. Yeah, hiding the true reality of the impact of the Yeah, all the cars. Very cool, Tanya. Very cool. Yeah, the hiding what the change actually means. And then just guys, explicit and implicit coercion. You've all been told this. Stop it. You know what? When you fight with your siblings, stop it, or I will stop it for you. And right, guys, I've really gone over time. I can't finish. Okay. Any questions? Any comments?